Live from Jefferson City, it's the This Week in Missouri Politics Midweek Update with Scott Faughn.
Welcome into This Week in Missouri Politics Midweek Update. We're going to jump right into it because we are joined by a very dear friend of mine, the St. Louis legend, Ray Hartman. Welcome into This Week in Missouri Politics Midweek Update.
You got the wrong Ray.
There's a lot of Rays in this particular CD2 contest.
I've been accused of a lot of things in this race, but I'm not married to Ann Wagner. That's Ray Wagner, her very esteemed husband. I'm Ray Hartman. And it is an honor and a pressure to be on with you again, man.
So looks like you're pulled over on the side of the road on the campaign trail, right? Thanks for making the time.
Well, now, be clear, I wasn't pulled. I pulled over. I wasn't pulled over. I've never been pulled over.
I got pulled over down in Ozark, Douglas County last weekend. You know, I really think I think our highway patrolmen should make a lot more money. And there should just be fewer of them, and they should all be focused on St. Louis and Kansas City. You all like government. You should get more of it. I'm from Butler County. We ain't looking for more government.
Is the incident where you got pulled over on YouTube?
No, it was pretty boring.
Nothing
it was
happened,
me.
Right? Nothing happened.
No,
he probably just pulled you over because he recognized your license plate and wanted to tell you he was he watched This Week in Missouri Politics.
Yeah, apparently he didn't. He did not. He does not watch the show. We got to up our ratings in Douglas County. So how's the campaign going? What are you hearing out there?
You know, I'm having time in my life, Scott.
Good.
It's really fun. I didn't know what I was getting into, as you know, back in March. And it's good. Yeah, as far as what I'm hearing, I mean, I think you're going to hear good things when it's you. I work my butt off. I'm out all the time. And I would say, I happen to think it's going to be a very close race. That's all I'm hearing. That I'm hearing from people that are going to vote for me, but the people that aren't going to vote for you aren't going to come up and tell you. So, but it's been fun. Everybody's been nice. I've met a lot of people. I've been in places you wouldn't expect me to be, and I've learned a lot. I mean, you listen to people and you learn, and it's been a great experience.
That's awesome. So, give me the no one's ever called you quiet or meek. No one's ever said you don't have something to say. But give me the elevator pitch on why folks should vote for Ray Hartman.
All right, I'll start. I'll tell you what. You happen to be a good friend of Ann Wagner, and I respect
Absolutely.
that, and Ray Wagner. And here's what I tell everybody, and it's the truth. I say, if you're looking for someone to hate on Ann Wagner, you're looking for the wrong guy. We both grew up in St. Louis County. We both went to Mizzou. I was there a decade ahead of her, but I will not, as Ronald Reagan said, make an issue for political. I will not, for political reasons, make an issue of my opponent's youth and inexperience. So I start everything. I will make an issue of her indifference. And Ann Wagner has ghosted our town, and I've got plenty to run on my own. But Ann Wagner has ghosted St. Louis, literally ghosted it for 12 years. And when I say ghost, I mean that for 12 years, she's not only, you've heard it before, not only refused to debate any opponent, primary or general, 12 years. Not only has she not held a single as a place in person you can come in and meet her.
But who really gives a damn about a town hall? Like, is somebody unclear about what Ann Wagner thinks about something?
Okay, let me.
She's finish. You and her do share one thing. You are both very plain-spoken people. You don't have to wonder what Ray Hartman or Ann Wagner's thinking. They'll just tell you.
I get that, but let me finish, young man. And the other thing that's been really remarkable in this campaign, and she was on public radio the other day. She was talking about how she's been holding rallies. Now, I don't know where the rallies are. I will tell you this, and this is hilarious. You know how a lot of politicians are only there when during an election. You can't say that about her. And you can Google this. You can Google it. She has not had one campaign event open to the general public. Not one. It's one thing to not do town halls, and you're right, who cares? She hasn't even had a campaign event, not one in this race, open to the public. Now, maybe you say, well, she doesn't think I can. But, I mean, the point is this. What I'm hearing from people, Scott, and I hear it from a lot of folks you'd like. I'll give you a good example. I was out in Union, Missouri at a car show, a Chevrolet, great folks. I love Union, Missouri. If anybody knew Ralph Smith, one of the great people of all time. I worked for him. He was worked with him and under him, I guess, in the governor's office, Kit Bond's office, 75, 76. Union's great people in Franklin County and Washington, Missouri. Union, which of course the county seated Franklin County. I was at a Corvette show, and I was talking to people. I picked up 4 votes. You know what I said to them? I said, look, I know I'm in Trump country. I know
you didn't drive that damn Prius to a Corvette show, did you?
It wasn't no Prius. It's
good.
A Chevy Bolt.
I'm proud of you for that.
And here's the deal. And I went to, and I don't have a Corvette. Ann Wagner, with a $21.7 million net worth, probably has 3 Corvettes.
You ought to sell that Prius and buy you a Corvette. That'd be way better.
I can't afford it. I'm a working person. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I don't have the kind of money like your friends that you hang out with. But here's the deal. So I'm talking to people. I said, I learned this because I stopped asking people why they're for Trump. I said, I know why you're for Trump. I said, now you and I are going to disagree about this, but you think he's got your back. I said, that's why I think you're for Trump. Am I right? And he goes, yep. I said, now I have a different view of Trump than you do, but I'm not running against Donald Trump. I'm running against Ann Wagner. And guess what? The reason to vote for Ray Hartman's exactly the same reason to vote for Ann Wagner. Against Ray Hartman against Ann Wagner is exactly the reason to vote for Donald Trump. And that is, I'll have your back. And you're talking about, have you ever seen Ann Wagner here in Union? Nope. Do you even know who she is? Nope. I said, here's the deal. I'll be here. You may not like what I have to say, but you will know where to find me. Every time I come back to the district, I'll do something Ann Wagner's never done. For all the media. I don't know if they'll show up, but if there's something going on in Congress, they will find me. They won't have to look for me.
I think you already have the votes of the media. I don't think you have to worry about them.
I know.
I would count all the media members in the 2nd Congressional District in your column.
I'll go ahead of votes in Franklin and County because I'm going to show up. A good example, she's got an office in Washington, Missouri. Did you know that?
Well, it's Washington, Missouri, but yeah.
It's Washington. Don't be running down Washington, Missouri. It's one of the great communities.
I'm saying you mispronounce it. It's Missouri in the Silk and Lace portion where you live. Okay. But it's Missouri when you get out in real Missouri.
All right. Well, I spend a lot of time. If you look at the Washington, Missouri.
Where we don't have electric car chargers.
All right. Well, here's the deal. Washington, Missouri.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, I have no apologies for driving a Union-made General Motors car. I'm so sorry. I know you got that. What is that? Is it a?
It's an F-150. It's big as hell.
Yeah. But anyway,
I'm personally to thank for this heat wave we're having, and you're welcome, Missouri. My F-150 is at least 3% of the reason we're having a nice warm October.
I can't say, Chris, I don't ever cross the great Scott Faughn. We always appreciate that. But here's the deal. Talking to them, and they really, and I had 4 different people who are going to be Trump Hartman voters. Now, that doesn't sound like much of a bumper sticker. 4 different people said, because they know that I'll be there. She's got an office in Washington, Missouri. Guess what doesn't happen in the office? It's never, Washington, Missouri. It is never open. They don't have it staffed. So the taxpayers are paying, and she didn't even want to keep it. When she took over from when she kind of absconded with Franklin County from poor blank Lukemeyer during the gerrymandering process after the 20 election, she didn't want to keep it. And I was told that the compromise is the taxpayers are paying rent in Washington, Missouri for an office. All
right, now I'm with you on a lot of this, but now I will say, as a person that sat in the Senate more than any other Missourian and watched this process unfold, I think there was a fight for Franklin County. There might have been another county in the St. Louis metro area that nobody wanted anyone from, but it was not Franklin. I think everybody was fighting to take a piece of Franklin, or to take all of Franklin.
My point is,
I think she wanted it, and so did everybody else.
Well, I'm just saying.
I don't think you can say that about St. Charles. I don't know that there was a line of congressmen wanting to represent St. Charles, but there sure as hell was for Franklin County.
Ann Wagner, I will say this. She is a plain label politician, but she's a smart one. And I will tell you, she's a politician's politician. She took 2/3 of St. Charles County.
Is that a compliment, Kelton? Is a politician's politician a compliment?
If you think so, maybe it is. I'll tell you what.
I don't know.
Well, anyway, here's the deal. 2/3 of Franklin, St. Charles County was that was in her district. 2/3 of the county is no longer in a district. I got more voters in Franklin County, Missouri, than I do in St. Charles, Missouri. And
No. We kicked them out. St. Charles is Missouri now. We booted them.
Oh, Missouri. Okay.
Yeah, they're Central West End goes all the way to Winston.
Can you send me an English to Faughn dictionary?
I'll get you a real map of Missouri. You take from about Herculaneum. No, I'm not going to throw Herky under the bus. You go from Arnold to Wentzville. That's all Missouri.
Yes.
Then a little place around the plaza, the campus of Mizzou. The rest of it is real Missouri, like New Haven and good German places.
Just get me an English to hillbilly dictionary. So authored by Scott.
Hey, seriously, let's talk about your kid. Now, all right, you've said...
I want an autographed copy of your English to hillbilly to English dictionary so I know how to talk to you.
Well, I'll give you one, but I'm going to show you something cool. You're going to like this. This is going to harken back to your days. I got this awesome... I want to thank our sponsors. If you come to Jeff City, like when you come to file again in a year and a half, you'll want to say at the Courtyard by Marriott... And the broadband, the best rural broadband in the state, United Fiber in the Great Northwest... I got this stein. This is an Eagle beer stein. Look at that. That part of the collection that Representative David Castile gave to me. I'm very grateful. Then I got this. You'll recognize this guy. A buddy of mine from the Boot Hill sent me a Warren Hearns plate. Look at that. That's got Warren's picture on it. Talk about a throw.
Who sent that to you? That's cool.
And then, but this is the coolest thing. Kelton, you want to put up on our guest for Sunday? Sunday on This Week in Missouri Politics, it's going to be Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe. And guess what I got? I got dropped in the mail today a Mike Kehoe Ford hat. Now, this is back in the day, when you were getting a Mike Kehoe deal on those F-150s. This is a Mike Kehoe back-in-the-day hat. He will be our guest Sunday. All right, we've talked about Ann Wagner a bunch. Let's talk about the Ray Hartman campaign. Obviously, coming down the last 10 days, you're making appeals to national folks for money and investment to come in. It is a seat that I've seen is the most competitive in Missouri and Missouri. What are you going to do to win this race? I mean, obviously, when you make a pitch, you have to own. I'm the underdog, but what are you doing here to move the needle?
By the way, we're not pitching national money. We don't have national money, and that's just—it's not that we wouldn't have liked it, but we're not. Let's face it. The media. No, I'm serious. We'd have loved it, but the media. I'm the underdog, and everybody likes to say that. But in this case, the Post-Dispatch has just called the race. The national.
Well, if anybody knows the mood of the people of Missouri, it's the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. I mean, they have their finger on the pulse.
They really got a finger on the pulse. Yeah, we're really devastated that they've
I watched a video VHS tape. One time Bill Emerson somehow got endorsed by them, and he's giving a speech, and it's one of those old camcorder things. He says, "I did not ask for this. I did not want this. I do not accept this. I have sent them a cease and desist letter saying you are not allowed to endorse me. I do not accept your endorsement."
I don't think they're doing an endorsement, but if they do, I really hope they endorse it. You should be in the same spot. I'm just saying.
No, that's just mean, Ray. Now, look, you can say she doesn't hold a town hall, but it's just damn mean to wish a Post-Dispatch endorsement on some good person. That is dirty pool, Ray Hartman.
Yeah, well, that's where in the last 2 weeks, that's what she's doing. I got to do it too. But I think I'm not going to analyze.
You would really wish a Post-Dispatch endorsement on Ann Wagner. That's just mean as hell. City folks are mean.
You're a witness that I came in here saying I'm not going to call her names. I'm not going to do anything.
I knew that was bullshit when you said it.
Yeah, I know it. Here you go. I thought I meant it, but here I am 2 weeks left. You're right. And by the way, I'm not coming down to file because do incumbents have to actually drive? As an incumbent, am I still got to go drive to Jeff City?
Yeah.
Not that I don't like driving to Jeff City. Oh, I got to come when I'm as an incumbent. I can still have lunch with you then when I come to file.
Hell yes, we'll have lunch. Well, good. Hopefully they'll turn into going to the bar after.
I'm not okay. Here's the deal. No, I think the serious answer to your question is that this is the year, which is the first one since Roe v. Wade was taken out, and the Constitutional Amendment 3 on the ballot. Predictions. I was always wrong with them on Donnybrook. I will say this. I think it's going to be the race for the Amendment 3, which, as you know, I feel very strongly needs to pass in Missouri, is going to be much, much closer statewide than it is in the second district. We did polling that showed 60% of the folks this is in August, 60% of the folks in my district, in second district, wanted that pass. Now
I've seen some numbers, Ray, that it shows outstate Missouri it's down, but not significantly. Kansas City, it's 55-45 and trending up a little higher. But in the St. Louis area, it is off the charts. Now, I'm sure a lot of that includes North counties in the city, but I mean that does include St. Louis County that you represent. You're trying to represent.
It does, and Scott, here's the deal. The serious deal on this is that 72% of the votes that were cast in the last election after gerrymandering, which Trish Gunby ran so nobly, this year, in my district, 72% of the ballots were cast in St. Louis County in my district, and that's not a poll. That's actually the clerks. So 72% of the voters in the second district vote in St. Louis County, 13% in Franklin, and 12% in St. Charles. Now that's right out of the county clerk stuff. So a lot of people, when I talk to say, isn't that district St. Charles? Those are the numbers. There's more voters in Franklin County than St. Charles, and there's 72% in St. Louis County. And I will tell you this, that those folks want, and in Congress, the issue isn't Opposition Amendment 3, it's Roe v. Wade. 2/3 of our entire district in our polling, which was done by the great Ken Warren of St. Louis University and John Zogby, 2/3 of the people in the second district, including Warren, Franklin, and St. Charles County, want Roe v. Wade back. Full.
Ken Warren poll ain't cheap. You got some money from somewhere.
Oh man, we were just rolling in it. I bet, but that's not the point. Ken's the best, as good as it gets, and you know that. Think about that, Scott. 2/3 of the people want Roe v. Wade back. I will vote to bring Roe v. Wade back, and I got a feeling your friend Ann wouldn't.
But Ray, hold on. Hold on. I want to talk about an issue with you because these are the types of issues we usually are talking about over a beer. Right. Before Roe versus Wade, let's just call it what it is. The Republicans had passed laws to use the power of the state government to harass the hell out of a woman before she get an abortion. It was harassment. They did everything they could do to stymie, frustrate, and harass a woman not to get an abortion. Whether you think that's right or wrong, that's my perspective. And it was very hard to get an abortion in the state of Missouri. If you fast forward to what I think will probably be the law, 2 weeks from now, you could get an abortion any time. If you put Roe versus Wade back in, I mean, though I actually think Missouri will have more liberal abortion laws in 2 weeks than they did when Roe versus Wade was the law of the land.
Yeah, and if you set an hour timer at the start of the 25 election, your boys in the state legislature will blow that up the way they blew up the puppy mill thing, the way they blew up Clean Missouri and turned it into Dirty Missouri.
Can you blow it up, though? Can you blow up a constitutional amendment?
They'll figure out. They did it with Medicaid expansion. They did it with.
I don't think that's fair, Ray. I don't think that's fair. I think they were they stubborn? Were they whiners about it? Yes, but they took it to the Supreme Court, which is the right of the state of legislature, and at the Supreme Court they said you will expand Medicaid according to the vote of the people, and they have. Now on Clean Missouri, look, I think Clean Missouri was a gerrymandering scam with some ethics stuff stuffed into it. It would have went into effect. It didn't because the people of this state voted on a whole different scam to put it back. I mean, they blame the public Scott, on that. On this, I think you're going to see honestly, I think it's a more conservative abortion law because it's not having the government in your life. There's going to be a more conservative abortion law in this state 2 weeks ago than there was 2 years ago.
Here's what I think. First of all, ask our good friend Mike Keogh if he's going to if you ask him on Sunday, if Constitutional Amendment 3 passes, is he willing to just say, that's it, we aren't going to do anything? Ask him. I'd be interested to see what he says.
They're going to fight it. It'll be on the ballot again in 2 years.
I've heard other Republicans say that they promise. I've literally heard speeches from Republicans and guys like your friend, Mr. Gregory, who are willing to fight once, even if it's passed. But, I'm not going to drag David. I'm not running for – hey, you know what? David Gregory. And state office. You can figure that out all you want. I'm running for federal office for Congress. And in Congress, regardless of what happens in Missouri or Missouri,
I like that.
we need
Like you put Missouri first.
The people of our district want and will have in me someone to vote to protect all women in all 50 states of America by restoring nothing more, none of all this nonsense about 40-week abortions, all this garbage. Roe v. Wade, which is law of the land from 1973 on, we will bring back Roe v. Wade protection for the women of America, and also will bring back access to contraception, which my opponent has opposed, even though she says she's for it, and will bring back, will assure access to IVF.
You really think Ann Wagner's against birth control, really? Now, come on.
She voted
you
twice
don't really
against
think
something
that.
called no, I don't think twice against measures to protect contraception. Maybe that's just, I think she said you can't judge a bill by the title. That's fine. The bottom line is, wake me when the first time she votes to protect contraception. Okay, that's all I have to say about it. But here's the deal, I don't care about it. I am going to vote to protect Roe v. Wade, access to contraception, and access to IVF for women of all 50 states. It is a civil right.
On a policy thing, I'm for you. But if you were to go at the federal level and put Roe v. Wade back into practice, you would actually be really restricting Missourians and Missouri women, your constituents. The law, I think, is going to be not radically, that's an opinion, but you're going to be able to get an abortion in Missouri when Amendment 3 goes into effect. Roe versus Wade, you still could, but it was a ridiculous nightmare the conservatives, quote unquote, had set up to have liberal policies to try to convince women not to have abortions. Give me some predictions here. You're out talking to folks.
Two-thirds of the women want Roe v. Wade back, and if I'm elected, when I'm elected, I'm going to do my part to give it to them. Full stop. And any of these other side issues, I'm not running for state office. Okay, I'm running for Congress.
How's Trump running when you talk to folks? How's Harris running?
I think Harris has a good chance to win our district. She's not going to win Missouri. Missouri, I don't want to get her off.
She ain't going to win Missouri.
She's not going to win Missouri. No, of course she's not going to win Missouri. But the point is, she
might win Missouri.
Think that one of the things. Okay, would you stop? All right. Anyway, we got to do this the whole time. I'm telling you, send me that dictionary so I get this all right. I get confused.
It's easy. If you're in St. Louis, it's Missouri. If you ain't, it's Missouri.
I'm a kid. Look, I fought my way off the streets of Creve Coeur. I'm just a suburban boy. I can't handle this stuff. I don't know. We were hanging out in our carports, man. Now, here's the deal. And by the way, Ann and I both grew up in St. Louis County.
Look at that. That is a Kit Bond size button right there. That harken you back. That is a Kit Bond button. By the way, huge.
Let me say this.
Boom.
One of the things, I'll tell you something else I talk about, and I'm not just talking about it because you got, I'm just telling you. One of the things I'm proud to say is on 75, 76, I was Kit Bond's speechwriter. I was 23 when I went to work for him. And I will tell you this, Kit Bond is one of the great public servants in the history of this state. And the fact that he's a Republican, when I tell that to Democrats, I get nothing but applause and nods. Kit Bond is one of the great, and frankly, they don't make him like Kit anymore. The Republican Party of Kit Bond is so gone. And the idea that that's Republican, and I don't want to name names because they'll get mad at me, but there's a lot of decent thinking Republicans that they all call rhinos now, and that's too bad. But I will say this, when I talk about Kit, and Kit was somebody who stood for integrity, and the most important thing, and I keep coming back to it, is he had people's back. He didn't care where you voted for him or not. He was there to represent people. And when he was a senator, he voted in ways I disagreed with. But Kit Bond was as good, along with Roy Blunt, among others, was as good a constituent senator as there ever was, because he cared about the folks. And when I talk about somebody that you can say all the apologies you want for, the one thing I hear about my opponent is no one sees her. And she can't change that. I was a little surprised she's not doing more ads to make it look like she's in the district. Scott, I can go where district. and the first thing people say is they never see her. And that, I don't care what she wants to spin. She's claiming she did rallies. She on the air 2 days ago on St. Louis Public Radio says we've been doing rallies. I'm like, really? Like, are you calling a fundraiser at the Bogey Club a rally?
Well, I mean she might not be able to get a Trump rally, but she could clearly get like a Harris size rally. I mean, hell, Kelton could get a Harris size rally.
Well, why don't you go to the World Wide Web right now and Google Ann Wagner rallies and see how many came up.
Hold on, I want to talk about one more issue before we talk more about Ann. Tariffs. I've seen you come out against tariffs. I've seen you be critical of Trump's tariff policy. That's interesting to me because
I think that it's a sales tax.
Guys I have a high regard for. Dick Gephardt fought his whole career to protect Missourians' jobs with tariffs. I was surprised when I seen you come out against him.
Well, here's the deal. I am not 100% against all tariffs. I'm opposed to what Donald Trump's talking about, which is basically a 20% sales tax on Americans and starting another trade war. You know, Missouri farmers, especially family farmers, would have all gone out of business because of China's retaliation and trade war if we hadn't had to give them money. And he's got some of the hardest working men and women in the world that had to be turned into welfare recipients because we had to bail them out when the China.
I lost Ray. It's that damn electric car he's in, I'm telling you. Those things are, I don't know. I love Sylvie's because I really like the thing. Sylvie's got a Tesla. I like the fact that he could just put it in his phone and drive you there. I wouldn't want to be driving one of them damn things. You know what I mean? I don't want to sit and wait for the car to charge. I want to put some damn fossil fuel right in the tank of that F-150. Okay, I heard from, I got a picture from some of the young Republicans about Ann Wagner at a rally of theirs. And I see one, the Mike Kehoe campaign sent me a picture of Ann at a rally with him. Oh, I see Elaine Gannon and Jim Murphy. All right, Ray, I got a fact check here.
Okay.
And I have a policy: never trust fact checkers. They're always lying. I got a text message from one of the St. Louis young Republicans of her at a rally. Then I got a picture of somebody in the Kehoe campaign with her at a rally with Kehoe and Elaine Gannon, who I love.
Okay. Okay, great. Ann Wagner rally or when she showed up? Okay, good.
I don't know.
But Ann Wagner does not campaign. She might have showed up. The question is, I'll bet you any amount of money those rallies were not in the.
Where is the? Well, let me just ask you, Ray. Where is your? So we got what, about 10 days left, 10, 12 days left. I'm getting in the F-150 tour. Come to St. Louis. I want to track you down, have you visit with me for 4 or 5 minutes. Where is what rally could we pinpoint that you're holding?
You could have been any number. Well, first of all, you could have come to the 3 parades I marched in where Ann Wagner wasn't in Manchester.
Okay, yeah.
Kirkwood,
I get it.
Mayor Ward.
Where is the next Ray Hartman rally?
All kinds. We're done with rallies, man. We're just getting out to vote now. We're done with rallies. But anyway, and I will give credit. Ann Wagner did fly with Scott Scalise to Arizona to what looked like a Trump rally. It turns out it was a little banquet room where without Trump, where she and Steve Scalise talked about 20 people about getting out the vote. So it's not like she hasn't done any campaigning.
Okay, so are you going, if you do have a rally here in the closing, will you send it to me? I'll put it on Twitter.
I was hoping there might be a town hall on radioactive waste. And if there is one, I'll invite you because Ann Wagner doomed radioactive waste compensation for St. Louisans. But I will say this, Scott.
Team Hartman Hawley's on it, though, right?
I think that you're the best. I think that tariffs. There are times that targeted, careful tariffs, including against countries like China that are play dirty, are appropriate on occasions. But the idea that blanket tariffs, which 20% would be the equivalent of a 20% sales tax, costing the average American family $4,000. That dog, as Kit used to say, that dog won't hunt. Okay, and I will say that. So I am not 100% They got to be thoughtful. And you know what they got to be? And this is one, you asked what I talk about on the train. I have an aspiration. You got to be accepted to join something. I don't know if I mentioned on the show last time, to join the Problem Solvers Caucus. It's 32 Democrats and 32 Republicans that meet across the center to try to come up with solutions rather than sound bites. That is, and I don't believe, again, my opponent's in it, but I believe that the answer to most complex questions, that includes immigration, it includes the economy and tariffs, it includes just the wide range of topics, guns, all those kinds of, and gun violence, all those kinds of issues are best decided, best resolved, kind of like the way we do it on Donnybrook, or you do it on Missouri, This Week in Missouri Politics. We have people of different views come there, something on the middle. And I'm sorry, but that's one of the reasons Congress is so broken, is we don't have that. And she can say I'm as liberal and this and that. The fact is, I was on a TV show. I had the privilege of being in every living room in every square inch of our district for 37 years, dating back to the Reagan administration. And we did not call each other names. We argued about issues. And at the end of the day, we went out and had a drink. And we're all family. And I want to bring that kind of mentality to Congress, because it's gone. And by the way, it's no disgrace that Ann Wagner has given her whole life to Republican politics. She's a staunch Republican. Good for her.
Well, you've been in the media. That's the same as donating your life to Democrat politics.
Well, you know what? No, it isn't. And I'll tell you what, the 30, well, you say what you want. 37 years of being in people's living rooms and arguing and points of view. And you know, Martin Dugan was one of the people I revered the most in my life. He was my dearest friends. And Martin and I, we probably did hundreds of public appearances with our little road show. We had a show on Channel 2. We were on 10 years on KMOX.
How about Bill McClellan still kicking out some of the best columns I read in my entire month? Bill McClellan is still kicking out outstanding columns.
He is a Hall of Famer.
He really is, in every sense of the word.
He is the best. You know, the Post-Dispatch, we tasted about the Post. You got Bill McClellan, who's the best there ever was, Hall of Famer. And you know, there's other people at the Post. You know, Tony Messenger's a Pulitzer Prize winner. I think my friend Joe Haldeman does a good job. But
hey, look, I think Tony gets preachy, but you got to give credit where it's due. The thing he won that Pulitzer Prize for, I think, was his series on prisons for profit and policing for profit. And I'll tell you, I think he did excellent work. I read every one of his columns on it. I held it in the highest regard.
Tony's a friend, and I'm very proud to say that between Tony Messenger and I, we've won a Pulitzer, and I feel really good about that.
I don't know, you know, it may have taken a different track toward me, but I have a high regard for his I have a high regard for his ability to really get to the bottom of that policing for profit, and I hope everyone takes a look at that, because it's just picking on folks.
And by the way, I wish I have a little, I say things as a former journalist. I think, the newspaper that I feel the best about in our district is the Washington Missourian, because it's one of the true last of the old time community newspapers, hometown newspapers, mainly serving Washington and Franklin County. It's really one of the last ones. It's the last one in our district.
I thought they treated the old man a little rough. I think he deserved a little more than how he left. But the proprietor, the man that made the Washington, Missouri what it is. But Ray, let me close with a couple. Let me pepper you with a couple questions. Sure. Can you win this race? End of the day, can you win?
Yes. I'm definitely the underdog. I'm not the betting favorite, but yes, I can win. And it comes down, like so many elections, you know this better than anybody, Scott, it will be a closer race than people think. I really feel strongly. In a close race, there's two big questions: who turns out and who stays home. And so, yes, I think a lot of it's going to depend on the top of the ticket. A lot of it's going to turn about, the biggest thing is turnout, but the answer is yes, I can.
You need Amendment 3 turning out Democrat voters, right?
That's certainly one of the things, yeah.
What are you going to do?
Again,
where will folks see you? What are you focused on the last week and a half of this campaign?
Yeah, we're doing advertising. We've got a TV ad that's up.
We're not watching the Cardinals.
275. Yeah, well, I don't know. That's up to Roy Temple. He's a guy, GPS, best of the business, and
Pucks the Coast finest.
We'll see what he does.
Shout out to Roy Temple. Are you going to observe the 10/26 this Saturday? It's the anniversary of the 10/26/85 terrorist attack at Kauffman Stadium. You don't know about Don Dinginger, how he robbed the Cardinals of a world championship?
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, I'm not well
Kids
briefed.
today, Kelton, they don't know their history. If it happened before 9/11, they don't even know about it.
And I do feel, I got to say it. I'm sure you're saying, God, he attacked Ann Wagner too much. But I got to ask
We have talked about Ann more than I was anticipating.
We shouldn't talk about her anymore. She's a fine person. She's just, she
is a fine person.
That's just it. But I will say this. I'll ask you a question I asked you last time. She's been in Congress 12 years. Came to office in 2013. How many times have the Cardinals won the World Series? That's all I got to ask.
She got elected in 10 or 12?
She got elected in 12. She served in 13. She started to serve in 13. The last time we won a World Series.
No, she was elected before 12.
Nope, she was elected in 12.
All right, Kelton, look it up.
Ann
Wagner elected.
20th.
I think Ann Wagner was elected before 12.
She was. How much do you want to wager?
Well, let's put a beer on it.
I kind of keep. She replaced Todd Aiken in that seat. You remember Todd?
Yeah.
And Todd had gone off.
Oh, you're right. You're right. She did replace Todd Aiken. Yep.
Aiken.
I owe you a beer.
A legitimate attempt in his. Todd Aiken made a legitimate attempt, words, to beat Claire McCaskill, and Claire won re-election against him in 2012 to serve her second term.
Yep,
and that was the year that Ann Wagner ran. And 2000 and someone told me she actually debated her opponent for when she was not an incumbent in
Do
Republican.
you think anybody cares though? Like if you Ray, you've been in television.
I've talked enough about Ann Wagner. I don't care about it.
But just take Ann Wagner out of it. I think the presidential debates. I think Donald Trump makes presidential debates interesting. But outside of a debate with Donald Trump, does anybody give a damn about a debate? I mean, I think they should. I'd love it if they did. I just don't know if they do.
Let's put it this way. I agree with two things you just said. No, I don't think most people care, and yes, they should. So yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't think they make a difference. And by the way, you didn't hear me whining much. We made ourselves available to Ann Wagner to debate. We knew she wasn't going to do it. To me, of all the things I
think if I'm you, I take that as a compliment. Like if I ever ran for dog catcher or Wardsville alderman, if I did, I would challenge my opponent to debate. And if they didn't, I'd be like, "You're daggum right. You can't handle this hillbilly heat." I'd take it as a compliment if I was you.
I don't. It's like I say. She doesn't owe me anything. I think it's to me, it's I think it's disrespectful to the constituents when not her in particular, but when people are not willing. I will tell you, and I know this is huge breaking news on This Week in Missouri Politics, but when I'm elected, if and when I'm elected, I will debate any challenger in the Democratic or certainly the general election and in the Democratic primary. I will debate but again, you're right. Who cares? It isn't. I will do it just because, like you, I've been from the background in media. It's in my DNA. But I to tell you the truth, Scott, you're right. That's of all the things I talk about when I say to ghost to the district. And I want to emphasize, I am talking. It's fair criticism to say you get wound up. I mean, there's other stuff that I care about a lot. I do care about for example, making Affordable Care Act available to more people. I do think we need to move to greener energy sources, but do it in a way that doesn't blow up communities that have coal plants. I think, and a lot of those again are centrist issues. You can't just come in and say, I've
kind of had it with those damn hippies. I mean, I've sort of had it with those tree huggers.
I think you got to talk. I get it, but I'm just saying you got to do those issues across the aisle. You cannot come in as a Democrat, and look, I've been a proud and loyal Democrat But you cannot come in and say, we got all the answers, you're wrong, we're good.
I've been a somewhat ashamed and highly disloyal Republican for about that long.
All right, there you go. I was an independent when I worked for Kit, and I was independent for 50 years, and I've been a Democrat since March. I'm not going back. I'm staying. We're not going back. I'm not going back. But I will say, I really have had fun doing this.
Now we break the law here.
You having me on.
Kelton has a illegal gambling pool. We have the Chiefs -10 at the Raiders. Who you got?
Chiefs.
Chiefs. You taking the points? Are you giving the points?
I'm taking the Chiefs. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Mizzou. I think that line's grown, Kelton. Mizzou is down, I think, 16.5 at Alabama. You taking the Tigers?
M-I-Z.
You're taking those points, though, right?
You know, I think I'll take the points.
I think you take the points. I mean, I'm with you.
Well, I'll tell you what. But let me just say this: we don't need the points. We don't need the points, but we're going to win it.
Now, Kelton, someone might call that a politician's politician. What he just said.
Mizzou's going to shock the world, and I'm going to shock the world.
I love it. Ray Hartman, the St. Louis legend. Thank you so much for your time. Love you, buddy.
Hey, I really appreciate you, and thank you so much and for your audience listening, and thank you very much.
Get that damn weed eater engine, charge it up, and get your car back on the road.
M-I-Z.
Z-O-U. That was the St. Louis legend, Ray Hartman. Kelton's just a good dude. He's just fun, right? I like Ray, always have. Can he beat Ann? It would be a significant upset. I hope he's having fun with it. I seen where he was paying himself, and I texted him and said, "You should pay yourself more." I mean, hell. I would if I had to guess right or die, Kelton. I think I'm guessing Wagner pretty significantly, and it was funny. All right, I'll tell one story on Ray. So Ray, well, he calls me up, says he's going to run for Congress. I'm like, really? Like, why? And he's going through his reasons, and he's excited. I was like, hey, dude. He goes, well, I know that you like Ann Wagner. I said, I have the highest regard for Ann Wagner. He goes, I'm not going to say anything bad about her. I was like, Ray, that is bullshit. That is not real. I was like, if anybody's a pro, it's Ann Wagner. She gets it. Don't bullshit your buddy, right? He's like, no, I'm not going to say anything bad about her. Remember Kelton when we had him in here the first time? He sat in that chair. All he did was do this Ann Wagner rant. And I'm like, I thought you were going to say anything bad about Ann Wagner. He's like, oh, yeah. And then we got him on today. He couldn't talk about anything but Ann Wagner. He's like a jilted boyfriend. Ray Hartman's a good dude. I think he's making a good run at it. Listen, hey, here's the thing. Been sitting here. I've got my phone is full of texts every early October with Democrats saying this is our year. The suburban women are going to break for us this time. It's not happened in any significant margin, right? But maybe this is the year. I think there's a reason. If I'm Ray Hartman, I have some reason to think the abortion issue brings out some folks. And I think he could place well. The thing I like is he said he's having a good time with it, right? I like that.
He looked like he was having a blast out there.
Yes, he looked like, I mean, if argue with Ray's like wrestling a pig in slop. I mean, at some point you realize the pig likes it and so does Ray. You know what I mean? You ain't if you're going back and forth with Ray, you're gonna you at some point realize he just is here for the debate. Like the rest of it is vulnerable. It doesn't matter. No, but I do like Ray. Always have. He's a good buddy of mine. Wish him the best of luck. I'd like to say I could wish he wins, but I'll tell you, the Republican Party of this state needs Ann Wagner. The Missouri Republican Party needs her for several reasons, but reason one, she says what she thinks. She's not a kiss ass. In a party that has a ton of kiss asses, Ann Wagner's not a kiss ass. Number two, Ann Wagner has to go run general elections. She's the only one in this state that has to. She has to run a congressional race in a general election. It gives her a perspective and a view that other people don't have. Why was Ryan Silvey such a great senator? I firmly believe it's because he had to run races. He knew if he went and did a bunch of squirrely partisan idiocy, he would pay a price. Scott Sifton was a tremendous state senator, but he knew, and I think part of the reason he knew that, or that he was such a good state senator, is that he knew he would have to at some point talk to folks in South County that were independent-minded. Anyhow, I think the Republican Party needs Ann Wagner more than it needs her, if you want the truth. But good for Ray. It's been fun to watch that campaign. And I saw some of the attacks start flying. If I'm Ray, man, I'm like, yeah, no one wants to debate me. I'm the man. You got to attack me. I think that level of the spin will start about 7:30 on election night. Kelton, think we can get Congresswoman Wagner on for election night in Missouri?
We can sure try.
All right, we've got 3 minutes left. Let's run down. Let's announce the F-150 campaign tour. How cool is the Green Party guy? Wasn't he a nice dude?
I thought he was a fantastic guest.
We are going to kick off the F-150 campaign tour with Alex Bryan on KWTO on Monday. That'll be our radio kickoff. We're going to start off in Jackson County. We're going to be in eastern Jackson County on Sunday. We're going to be in the Northland. Actually, we'll kick things off Sunday in the Northland. I'm sorry, in Jackson County. Monday we'll be in the Northland. We'll do Pete Mundo Monday morning. We'll also do KWTO Monday morning, talk a little politics. Then we're going to tape our election special that's going to air on Halloween, Kelton. How about that? Election special airs on
Very
Halloween.
Spooky.
We'll tape that on Monday. Mike Mahoney, Stephanie Bell, a cast of fun. It'll be neat. Then Tuesday we start off in St. Louis on the Wendy and Frank show. Going to be fun. Then we're going to do Mark Reardon. We're going to talk about that SD15 race. We're going to talk, probably catch up with a statewide candidate or two in St. Louis. Then we're going to go down to the Boot Heel, because we got to do that, right? See if our pal Jamie Berger has some time. We're going to go up through the Lead Belt. I mean, it's not an F-150 tour if we don't see Mike Henderson, right? I mean, that's just the way it goes, you know. I tell you, Henderson is going to be a stud state senator. He's going to be that dude that maybe not the first year. That's an unfair expectation to put on a guy in his first year. 2nd through 8 years, people are going to be lined up to get him to carry their legislation. Then we're going to come. While we do that, we got St. Charles County. You see, I have a picture of the Prius on the logo. Do you like that?
I thought it was very creative on your part.
Then we go to Missouri's Rhineland. So we'll go to Herman. Really, you know what, Kelton? That's not about a campaign. That's just an excuse for me to go to Herman, if you want the truth. Then we're going to come back here for Halloween. So I'm not going to see you, Kelton, until we should do a midweek update on Thursday, right?
Just the two of us remotely.
I'll get to missing you. Well, I'll be back here Thursday, Halloween. Gussie's going trick or treating.
Oh, I'll be here,
baby. I got the American dream doth the rose with my outfit with my thumb Cody Rose, baby. You be trying to put hard times on the American dream. Then on Friday, we're going to host Wake Up Mid-Missouri a week from tomorrow with Stephanie. And then we're going to get on the bus, the big Kehoe bus, and ride it all the way to Neosho. And I may just keep going to Texas like all good Missouri outlaws do. But if not, you'll be back here Sunday, this week in Missouri Politics. Mike Kehoe. Then don't forget, we have the F-150 campaign tour. We have the election special on KMOS here in the central part of the state. Then, Kelton, election night in Missouri, right?
Absolutely.
Can you pull that off again?
I can certainly try.
Let's do it. Thank you, guys. We'll see you Sunday with Mike Kehoe for This Week in Missouri Politics.